Joining us today is National Security Council spokesperson Jonathan Malaya. Good morning po sa inyo. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes. What information do we have po as National Security Council receive about the arrest of these 3 Filipinos in Beijing?
Well, as you very well know, this is a very sensitive issue.
Yeah.
No, and it was just reported yesterday by Chinese state media, the Global Times, that there were 3 alleged Filipinos that were involved in espionage that were arrested. So what we did was to coordinate with the Department of Foreign Affairs to verify this information. You know, anything that comes out of Chinese state media, we have to verify. Because as you very well know, no, this is also part of their propaganda. So the Department of Foreign Affairs is now looking into this issue.
Yeah, but I believe we have an agreement with China. I just forgot what it means, that they have to notify us 4 days after the supposed arrest. Did that happen?
Exactly. That's why yesterday, as soon as the news broke out, I was in communication with the Department of Foreign Affairs, and I immediately requested them to verify this information. Was the Philippine Embassy notified? Was the Consul General in Guangzhou? I think this is the nearest, no? Because based on the news reports coming from the Chinese state media, that the arrest happened in Hainan Island. So that would be under the jurisdiction of our Consulate General in Guangzhou. So as of yesterday, they have yet to come back to us. So at present, what needs to be done, insofar as we're concerned, given that this is a very sensitive issue, is first determine if indeed there was the arrest of these 3 Filipinos and on what basis was that arrest made.
So I'm assuming hindi pa po ito pwedeng pangalanan, ADG.
Yes, may mga pangalan na po na inilabas yung Chinese state media, but of course to protect these Filipinos, alleged Filipinos. Kasi, as I said, we have to be very careful about what's happening. Alam nyo naman po, hindi naman ito yung unang time na meron tayong ganitong issue with China. And they have their own version of events, right? In everything that happens in Baho de Masinloc, and especially in Ayungin Shoal, there's always this element of propaganda to show to the world an image, no? And signals to the rest of the world from Beijing. So we're taking this very delicately, no? So I think, as I said, the DFA will hopefully make a statement today whether they have confirmed that 3 Filipinos were actually arrested, and on what basis were they arrested.
I was wondering, ADG, if this is the same, kasi I read a report saying na March 13 po yung report saying na meron nga pong 3 Filipino, pero may naunang 2 Filipino allegedly arrested doon sa China, and they were from Palawan. Is this the same people?
Yun nga po yung isa pang inaaral namin, kasi there are conflicting statements coming from Beijing. At the same time, it's not exactly clear when these arrests were made, no? So there's this dissonance, if we can call it that, because there has been reports coming from Palawan that there were certain individuals, Filipino nationals, no, who are part of their scholarship, no, who went on a scholarship which the Chinese government sponsored, no. And then after finishing their scholarship, they went back to the Philippines. They were offered employment opportunities while they were in China, and then they returned to China to work. And then there were reports that they were placed under police custody. For what reason, we do not know, no, exactly. And then a few months later, no, a few weeks later, meron ng ganito. So, you know, it's very difficult for us, since I'm from the National Security Council, it's very difficult for us to comment until we have the entire picture. Kasi, as I said, very difficult to be responding to statements from China, because there's always the element of propaganda, and there's always the element of gray zone, and always the element of deception. So we will we're looking into this issue very carefully, and we expect the DFA to issue a statement today.
Doon po, ADG, doon sa kanilang article, they named this certain Richie Herrera. Sinasabi nila an operative within the Philippine Military Intelligence. Recruited daw po itong allegedly na mga naaresto. Do we know of a certain Richie Herrera?
As I said, because of national security considerations, no, I cannot comment right now. Tingnan muna natin, no, where this will lead us, and let's allow the DFA to handle it. In my discussions with the DFA, they assured me that if indeed 3 Filipinos were arrested for alleged crimes committed against the Chinese state, that the Philippine government will provide all consular assistance, no, that is required, no, that according to the law must be allowed, so that these Filipinos' rights, no, if needed, if indeed they were arrested, will be respected.
Okay, so we'll get back to you on that po, ADG. But ito po bang incident na to, meron po bang, will this pose any risk to Philippine-China relations, especially in the light of, alam naman po natin, existing geopolitical tensions?
Well, I hope not, no? You know, we have diplomatic relations, we have very good cultural ties, economic ties with the People's Republic of China. I hope this will not be an issue. We also arrested Chinese nationals who were doing espionage activities in the Philippines, and we presented evidences of that to the public. No, some were arrested in Palawan, in other parts of the Philippines, in Manila, and we have clear pieces of evidence, no, which according to China is not true. No, so they consider what we did as harassment, allegedly to Chinese nationals in the Philippines. So, of course, there's tension between our countries arising from the dispute, no, the dispute in the West Philippine Sea. But we hope that this will not be a significant blow to Philippine-Chinese relations.
Yun nga po, ADJ, I just wanna ask you din po doon sa update doon supposedly doon sa mga nahuli naman natin dito na allegedly Chinese spies. Meron na po ba tayong update doon aside from what you have said, you've mentioned? And have we talked to our counterparts regarding this?
Well, the case is now in court, no? And we assured the Chinese government that they will have their day in court. They will be able to present their evidences. They are allowed consular visits. They are allowed to legal representation, you know, as opposed to China, which is a communist country. The Philippines is a democratic country. And that also applies to citizens of other nations that face cases in the Philippines. So it's now in court. The Department of Justice has already filed cases against these 5 individuals that were arrested by the Philippine security forces and law enforcement agencies. Gumugulong na yung kaso laban sa kanila.
All right. So before we let you go, ADG, also we would like to ask for your comment regarding the recent statement of our AFP Chief General Romeo Bronner regarding the potential conflict in Taiwan.
Yes.
Yeah, your comments on that po. What are we doing?
Well, essentially, what the Chief of Staff was saying is that there's this possibility of an invasion of Taiwan. No, he did not say that there will be an invasion. He just said there's this possibility. And it is the role of the armed forces of the Philippines, in particular the Northern Luzon Command, to be ready for any contingency to assist our nationals who are there. There are around 150,000 Filipino nationals. No? And hindi naman ito bago. No? There has been emergencies in the past, particularly in the Middle East, wherein Filipino nationals naipit sa bakbakan, like Lebanon, for example, Syria, no, in Israel, Hamas, and all of that, no. So Egypt also, and we have always supported our Filipino nationals. We sent ships, chartered planes, and ito nga lang, no, mas malapit sa atin. So instead of a task force being organized, it's the role of the Northern Luzon Command to assist the evacuation of Filipinos if it happens. So more of ano lang ito, contingency planning, preparedness, no? And that's really the job of the armed forces of the Philippines.
All right, thank you so much for your time, National Security Council Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya. Thank you so much.
For having me.